Karen can't read and holds Cashier responsible for her idiocity anyway. As my shopping was not that many items, Mom and I split when we got to the registers. She went to the normal one with no limits on item numbers and cash or card option, whilst I got into the express lane with 12 items or less and card-only option. This is relevant as there were no less than 4 large signs specifically stating it was 12 items or less and card-only. The lady behind me had a full trolley, a young Karen in the making, first red flag, and shrugged with a "so what" when I pointed out the signs, second red flag. In an attempt to help her, the guy right behind her was an older gentleman holding a bag of apples and some bread. The line is growing by the minute at this point as people were rushing home from work and were likely just grabbing bare essentials for breakfast. Once I finished my transaction, I waited just beyond the registers for Mom and watched the cashier politely explain it was card only and it was 12 items or less. The lady pitched a hissy fit on the items and said yes fine, to the card only option. The cashier sighed and began the transaction as at that point, Karen was boxed in due to rush hour queues and could not get out of the lane without exiting the store. When time came to pay, Karen pulled out cash and the cashier reminded her it was a card-only lane. The Karen let out an ungodly screech and began her tirade, "So what do I do now? Do you want me to not pay? I will leave the stuff here then. I will pay half of the stuff by card, then go to the next lane and pay cash for remainder." At this the cashier asked how she was going to separate the paid and unpaid items as the trolley was chock-a-block with stuff. Likely Karen was planning a party with the amount of beer, cola, snacks etc., not judging but relevant as the bulky items were in large cartons, hence hard to separate. She had a total of over 40 different items, a carton of beer is one item, in her trolley. More belligerent rants and the line behind Karen got longer as more express item people were queuing due to self-service being under maintenance. The older Middle Eastern gentleman is getting impatient and right in the middle of Karen's threats that were drawing ire from all customer lanes. I mean, the lane was clearly labeled as card-only express, and the approaching wrath of the floor manager who was flying towards the now backed-up lane. He quietly leaned into Karen and said something furiously in her ear. I don't know what he said, but she shut up and paid by card for the entire lot and hurried away without a fuss. A collective sigh of relief went up from the line as service resumed. The cashier was on the verge of tears, older lady and one of the nicest there, adding how awesome the cashier was throughout this unholy menace's rant, and the gentleman asked if she was okay. The manager arrived at that point and he and several other customers explained the Karen's behavior and rudeness. The manager told the cashier to take a break and took over the register, at which point my mom came through with her purchases and we left. Karen had disappeared by this point, likely into the abyss from which she had been summoned, but her stupidity was baffling. I hope she realized her mistake and was vigilant from then on.